everyone, my name is Elisabeth Moore and I'm a staff writer here at Ballotpedia. This year, 2020, is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Ratified on August 18th, the 19th Amendment prohibited the government from denying or abridging the right to vote on account of sex. Before the 19th Amendment, the women's suffrage movement also campaigned for changes to state constitutions to provide women with the right to vote. Suffragists Carrie Chapman Catt and Nettie Rogers Scholer wrote that state ballot measures, quote, spun the main thread of suffrage activity, unquote, in the movement's earlier years and were seen as stepping stones to national suffrage. Quote, I don't know the exact number of states we shall have to have, said Susan B. Anthony. But I do know that there will come a day when that number will automatically and resistlessly act on the Congress of the United States to compel the submission of a federal suffrage amendment, end quote. When asked about federal support for women's suffrage in 1908, President Theodore Roosevelt advised the suffrage movement to go get another state. Between 1867 and August of 1920, 54 ballot measures to grant women's suffrage were on the ballot in 30 states. 15 of the measures were approved, giving women the right to vote in 15 states. Since women did not have suffrage until after the ballot measures were approved, male voters decided the outcome of suffrage ballot measures. Only 5 of the 15 states that approved suffrage amendments did so on their first attempts. 2 states, Oregon and South Dakota, voted on women's suffrage 6 times before ultimately passing it. The first state to vote on women's suffrage was Kansas in 1867, but 69% of the male voters rejected it. Wyoming adopted women's suffrage as part of its state constitution ratification question in 1889, and the first state to approve suffrage as a single-issue ballot measure was Colorado in 1893. With the exception of New Mexico, every state in the West voted on and eventually approved state constitutional amendments for women's suffrage before the 19th Amendment was ratified. East of the Mississippi River, 11 states voted on suffrage, but only 2, Michigan and New York, approved it. The only region where suffrage amendments were not on any state ballots was the Southeast. You can learn more about women's suffrage ballot measures and the details about each of the 54 ballot measures we discussed today at ballotpedia.org/state women's suffrage ballot measures. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.